It's Honeysuckle and Rachel Blackmore, Racing's golden duo!
Tiger Roll joins the greats and beats Magic of Life.
Best behaviour on the near side with the wettest of saves for Barry Brown and Oliver McKiernan. Local trainer Derek McLaughlin again, the honest Lord Lyon wins it from...
It's Sampo on the stand side before he had the second last. Fahey lands in the lead by half a leg and goes on from Sampo.
Hello and welcome to episode 14 of We're Going Chasing. I'm James. I'm here again, once again, here with Killian. How are you, Killian?
Not too bad, James. Jeez, hard to believe we're 14 episodes in. Like,
I know it is.
14 episodes of pure gold too, isn't it?
we may be biased. But yeah, we're in a bit of a lull, sort of, in terms of Irish racing, you know, and then a lot of the stuff in England the last couple of weeks has sort of fallen to the weather and that. You know, it was a pity there last weekend. You know, we had Energumene against Edwardstone. We had another few. We had the Peter Marsh as well called off. You know, it's just in a small bit of a lull at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sickener, but thank God the Clarence House was rescheduled and there's a few more in it. Editor Cheat was supplemented. That was great stuff too. And I think it's up to 6 now potentially. So they've doubled the size of the field, which is always good. Hopefully it'll be a good race if it is on in Cheltenham on Saturday. It's some card in Cheltenham too. Like you'd love to be over for it.
You would, and I was suggesting that too. Yeah, right, and a few more lads. But I've got other engagements with football and that. But if I were you now, I'd be getting on the plane over. We've got our membership. The flights were only but €40.
Is that all they were
on the day? Yeah. A shared taxi down with 4 or 5 men. I tell you could do a lot worse now. On the weekend on Saturday than go over there.
Yeah, you'd spend more in Dublin on a Saturday night, like.
You would. And neither was a race in last weekend either. We watched the United Arsenal match together, all right, which was better for you than it was for me.
It was, yeah.
But I know, and there was 6 of us and 4 Arsenal fans, 2 United fans, so it's fairly outnumbered.
You were, yeah, but look, you had your week of glory there when you bet City. Like, it's back to normal services resumed. The Arsenal are back on top, and we're fucking flying it.
yeah, and actually missing the Carabao Cup first leg semi-final there now at the moment.
Oh yeah,
we're about 20 past 8 now, so I don't actually know the score even. But yeah, will you go to Naas on Sunday?
I will go to Naas on Sunday. Yeah, I'd say I will anyway. There's a couple of nice races on there. The grade 3 over 3 miles. Looks like Ramirez might run there for Willie. He won it with Stackler last year. And then the Limestone lad there as well. I see Bob Ollinger is entered in that. It'd be great to see him run back over 2 miles. Like, maybe he's finished, I don't know, but like, it's sort of I chance him back at 2 miles and see how he goes. Like, just let him sort of bowl along in front and see, or handy anyway, and see what he does. Like,
yeah, it's what I've been advocating on this podcast for a while anyway, so I'm glad to see him. And it's a nice, if he does run, it's a nice way for them to start him back over 2 miles, you know, in a grade 3, rather than, you know, if they wait next weekend and went to DRF, then you know he's really up against it. But it's a nice way, and hopefully it works out.
Yeah, the conditions
he's got some class.
Conditions of the race suit as well. I think he'd get 9 after Asso. He'd have to get weight echoes and rain, all right, but
okay,
get 9 after Asso. He won the race last year, I think.
Yeah, okay.
So look, he's one that he should be better over 2 miles than he was over 3, maybe. Because he was a fucking disaster Christmas, really. So hopefully he bounces back anyway. It'd be great to see it.
Yeah, just in terms of housekeeping, then we've got 2 more little points. First of all, our tipping competition on Twitter is into week 3. Make sure if you have any anti-post fancy for Cheltenham, comment it underneath. It'll only take a minute, and whoever is in the most profit at the end will be getting 2 tickets to Fairyhouse on Easter Monday for the Irish National. If you miss a week here or there, it's not the end of the world. Just catch up and throw in a horse there for the current week, and best of luck with that. Second of all, we've actually teamed up with Hacked Up Horse Racing Gifts for a bit of a giveaway on our Twitter page. So if you go over to our Twitter page, you'll see that. Lloyd is very good, you know, and he supplied us with an embroidered hat and t-shirt, a mug with the horse's name on it, a pair of socks with whatever silks you want on it, and a Cheltenham Festival planner. which is a very nice gift from Lloyd to the podcast in terms of a giveaway. So make sure to check out his stuff. We've bought a nice bit of it before ourselves, myself and Killian. And it's a lovely giveaway there. So you'll see that on our Twitter page later tonight.
Yeah, and in fairness there, like that Cheltenham Festival planner, I know one of the lads bought it and I was looking at it. It's actually very, very good. And I've actually ordered one as well. So in fairness now, that looks really, really good. And I suppose the sooner you order it, the sooner you'll have it. And for obviously for Cheltenham. And then as well, there's a discount code for the website, WGC 25. That's all in caps for 25% off. All the merchandise there, and it's some really good quality stuff there as well.
Yeah, spot on. I forgot about the discount code. Well remembered. Right, we'll move on. But I suppose we may as well crack on into this week.
Yeah.
I suppose starting off there. We had Navan last weekend. Pat Daru ran. He's now got a rating of 138. And Gavin Cromwell has indicated he's going to go to the county hurdle, I think, Killian, has he?
Yeah, I think I was watching racing TV on Saturday. There was nothing else on. So I just put on racing TV and they interviewed Cromwell after he won. And he said that he was, so I think the interviewer said, "Oh, would you go to the Martin Pipe?" And he's like, "No, I think 2 miles is what he wants." I think he don't know who was in his ear. He didn't want to lose the ride in Cheltenham. But to give it up for a conditional jockey, yeah, he'd probably go to the county hurdle. He's had his 4 runs, 138. You'd imagine he's a novice. He's going to get 5. So it's 143. I don't know, is he much better than that? He's been pulled up and hammered in 2 grade 1s over 2 miles. Look, you sort of want to be a graded horse to win the county hurdle, if not a grade 1 horse. So look, he's a lot to find, but maybe he'll improve. I don't know.
Yeah,
not what I've seen so far. I wouldn't like him.
No, there'll be something better. Definitely a better proposition in that race for sure. Shambelly Kid then beat Monty's Star. That was Monty's Star first start for Henry de Bromhead. Did either catch your eye?
Yeah, I think Monty's Star more than Shambelly Kid did. Obviously Shambelly Kid was beaten at Christmas. Might have needed the run that day. Bounce back, looks a real stare. It's 2.5 miles in Navan. But both of them looked like 3 milers to me. I think Monty's Star, I'd say he probably needed it. You know, he was off the bridle a long way out. Like even before they went down for the end of the back straight, she was sort of squeezing him along. Yeah, like I think he looked to be going like as fast as he wanted there, and I think the step up and trip would suit him. Like I know I know it sounds like I'm just going back to Manila Indo, like, but it's the same connections. Like he was a maiden when he won the Bartlett. I just think this lad might go to a maiden hurdle between now and Cheltenham and then rock up in the Bartlett, and he could be any price. I had a few quid in him on the exchange there at 90 to 90.0 or something there the last day. I just hopefully he runs the next 2 or 3 weeks, sort of before late February, and then goes to Bartlett. I might get a run for my money anyway. But
yeah, would it worry you that, like, in terms of you're looking at both of them for Cheltenham, that they were only a length or 2 lengths ahead of Hemlock, who's 125 rated and is quite exposed?
I wouldn't worry me that much. Like they gave Monty Star 134 racing post rating. Like that's pretty good on debut. When I say he probably needed it. So like you'd imagine 131. Sorry,
you'd
imagine he'd improve a nice bit. You know, like you look at, we'll say, Embassy Gardens now, for example. Like what racing post rating did he get the last day when he won? Like I couldn't imagine it's up near 150. Like, so like you'd imagine Monty Star, he improves, and I'll actually tell you what Embassy Gardens 149. Like, so. Yeah. Like Monty Star could improve 10 or 12 pounds the next day, and then suddenly he hasn't got that much to find with Embassy Gardens, who's currently the favourite for the race. So okay. Look, maybe he's won at a big price that he's probably worth a few quid. If you see him entered again in the next couple of weeks, just have a couple of euro each way in him at 50 to 1 or whatever he is in the sports book or whatever.
Yeah, that's all fair enough. You know, at 90 to 1, I suppose a few quid, you know, and you might get lucky. HMSC horse then won the grade B handicap at Navan. You know, he was fourth in the Boodles last year, and Paul Nolan says he's going to the Coral Cup.
He is, yeah. Like his course and distance, or well, not course and distance, same course, the Boodles and the Coral Cup. So he's sort of proved he handles the track there. Like he's only a 5-year-old. Like,
Yeah, I wonder what sort of record 5-year-olds have in that. Coral Cup is a tough handicap.
it is a very tough handicap. It's probably the toughest handicap of the week.
It is.
I think
I'd
it
say.
is, yeah.
You could back something in that, and it could be extremely well handicapped, and you might never see it.
Yeah, you might never see it. No.
Yeah.
Like he's rated 99 in the flat. Like he's a pretty good horse. Like, yeah, I thought he dug in the last day. He got a racing post rating of 143. He's got £7 up to 139. 5-year-old, he'd definitely get 5. He could get 6. So you're looking at 145. Yeah, like it'll be tight enough, I'd say, whether he can improve past that. But like he's got age on his side. Trainers well able to win a handicap at Cheltenham. Showed that with Mrs. Milner and the Pretemps. Sean O'Keefe's a brilliant up and coming jockey as well. So like 14 to 1 now probably wouldn't be for me. I think he's a bit. I wouldn't be backing him at that price like at the moment.
No. I'd like to see the previous winners of the race too, and just see if any 5-year-olds ever map it, because
yeah, I would.
That'd put me off for the race.
The top of my head now, to be honest.
Yeah.
But look, is actually that race. The first 3 actually ran really good races. In that race, I thought Felix Deji ran a cracker. You know, he was held up. He wasn't too keen. It was a different sort of horse, and he stayed on and he kept on well. Like he did a £7 claimer on board there, but like he's a 10-year-old now. You'd imagine like he's not going to be winning the Coral Cup, but he's 16 to 1. He's like 5th in the betting. Like, you know, it shows like even at this time of year, it's a dire state of affairs. The anti-post, like like you'd imagine the handicap market should be really sort of taking shape now at this stage, and it hasn't really. And like you see him at 16 to 1, you couldn't be backing him in that. But the mare then, Revel Ivy, she ran some race as well off a break. She won a listed race in Limerick. She beat Heaven Help Us and Queen's Brook. Like that was good form. She's improved on that again. She got a racing post rating of 136, only got £2. I don't know, 2.5 mile handicap again. She's be back her in one of those in the spring.
How long was she off the track roughly, do you know?
Not maybe 100.
Okay, I thought you had in front of you, not to worry.
90 days just.
90 days. Okay,
yeah, like it was. She ran in October, so she probably maybe she needed it. I don't know, but like she ran a good race in Punchestown in the festival last year in an auction hurdle series final. She was only beaten ahead by Ambitious Fellow. Like she could have run well now later on in the spring, in one of those sort of 2.5 mile handicaps.
Yeah. Very good. That's fair enough. Pure Sirloin is the next on the list. What did you make of him?
Yeah, I actually backed him. I think I was watching the race and I was thinking like I saw there was a bit of money for him, like, and after Pat Giroux won, Cromwell came out and was like, oh, he needs to improve his jumping, but he's a good horse and he might improve. He's gone back over hurdles. He had a couple of runs over fences. Didn't really take to it. Only a 5-year-old, rated 100. I think Keith Donoghue came out and was like, "Oh yeah, he's my best chance of winner the rest of the day. I think he'll win."
Okay.
Like Jesus, I was looking at it saying, "Geez, this lad is an absolute donkey." He was being pushed along down the back. I was saying, "Oh, he's in serious bother." Like, giving him a squeeze, and Jesus just kept going. Like just stayed going. Like jumps very, very poorly, but jumped really well at the last. He sort of shoved him into it and just he came up well and he landed running and just kept on up the running and just about won it. But I think 2.5 miles probably the shortest he'd go. I'd say he'd go up and trip next time. He's won by a short head. They've given him £7, but he's a horse that'll probably improve for a step up and trip. So I'd probably keep him in the notebook.
Yeah.
If he goes up to 3 miles next time.
Interesting thing too is like he got to £7. He might have only won by a nose, but his mark was based off running a 2 mile hurdles. Like, you know, you know, he was probably well handicapped going into it. and will probably improve. His handicap debut, will improve a lot for it. And like you say, the step up and trip should probably unlock more improvement out of him. So that's actually a good
Definitely,
one
and
you pointed out.
he's in the Floor and Porter colours as well. And of course,
They love improvement.
Floor and Porter improved from what was it, 95?
About that.
95 to whatever he is now, 160 odd. Yeah, I'll just check here. One off 95 in a maiden hurdle in Edwardstone, and then got bet off 104, bet off 118, bet off 119, bet off 130, bet off 131. You could this lad won't reach that heights, I assume, but
No.
there could be another race or two in him.
Yeah, there probably is. And the one that stood out the most at Navan, in the bumper, that was interesting. The bumper in the middle of the card, it was interesting. But the one that stood out the most, it's for me, has gone into 4-1 favourite for the champion bumper at Cheltenham.
Yeah,
Was untouched by Patrick Mullins, and took off like some sort of an aeroplane up the home straight. He's exciting.
He is very exciting. Yeah, geez, he was a real talk horse over the last sort of week before he ran. People saying that he could be a live one for the bumper. I think he was into like 12-1, 10-1 before the race from 25s, and yeah, it was well justified. He's hosed up there, he's won by 10 lengths. He could have won by 30,
They've some hand of horses going to Cheltenham, don't they? Munir and Slade.
Outrageous. Is there betting for top owner?
There's not. No, there's not. I checked it. There's not. But you'd imagine they have to be close.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they've got some serious chances. And they seem to be they're all going to Willie as well. Historically, they had a lot of horses over in England. Nicky, Alan King, these sort of lads, and they're giving them all to Willie now, and he's producing the goods, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he is. And the English are missing out there. But
prize money.
Prize money. Yeah, that is it. And then just looking at the bumper just briefly, comparing it for me to Queen's Gamble. I'm not even going to say Chappie Desai or whatever. That Rich Richie horse 4-1 hasn't won a race. How is that 4-1 again? Who's backing that, lads? Put your hands up. And leave maybe, because I don't know how you can be backing that horse at 4-1. But we'll compare it to Queen's Gamble. It's for me, Queen's Gamble. Where would you be going?
I have no idea.
To be fair, it's a pure guess.
Completely incomparable, I'd say. He's bet more than likely nothing. Even though I will say the horse came second. Richard O'Brien is well able to ready one for a bumper, for a flat trainer. He does go well in the bumpers. Shambally Kid was his, and can't think of that other horse. He sold to Simon Munir. I think could be dead actually. But irrelevant for now. But he's well able to ready one for a bumper. So he could be decent. But you don't know until a few of these horses, or it's for me again, runs and see what substance the form has. It'd be my take on it. Queen's Gamble, she's done nothing wrong so far. She's justified being an 8-1 shot or wherever she is for the bumper, and I'd reluctantly stick with her still until I see a bit more from the form of that race.
Yeah. Right, and moving on to Thurles then, we had 2 grade 2s there. First of all, we had Allegor de Vassy, won by 19 lengths, beat very, very little. Did we learn much?
No, nothing. Zero. Nothing learned.
What did you make of the jumping?
I think she jumps violently enough to her right. But
violently,
yeah, is the word I'd use.
Would you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said that.
I think she does. But
I think you're being blinded by the first where that was some sip by Paul Townend.
Scandalous, unbelievable stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't say violently. Because I saw a few comments on that. I didn't think it was that extreme. Maybe I need to watch it back again. But
I just think what I was sort of looked at was she was obviously running up along the rail, and then when she was jumping, she was landing the fence was off the rail, and she was landing inside where the wing of the fence was when she came down. So that's why I thought she was jumping violently right. I could be completely wrong there, but that's
Okay.
for my eyes, that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
But she also made her own running. There was no horse near her. So like that's not going to happen in the mare's chase. So like I don't think the jumping it'll be that much of an issue. She's obviously really, really talented and she's a savage engine, but she shouldn't be in the mare's chase because the mare's chase shouldn't exist. She should be running the turners.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I don't disagree.
He could be if she straightened up her jumping a bit, she could be very, very hard to beat with £7 in the turners.
Yeah, she could. And I was going to say, is there any chance of it? But there's no chance of it because Willie had such a hand in it already.
No, and she
wasn't. I would just say maybe going the opposite way around when she goes left-handed. Now, because I didn't think the jump was that bad, but I think maybe when she goes left-handed, it could sort of her jump could be exasperated a small bit, like that slight problem that she has. Maybe it's be a bit more unnatural for her, we'll say, going left-handed, and you could see her jumping out right a bit more. But I'll definitely watch that back later on.
Yeah, they'll do plenty of schooling with her between now and then anyway to try and straighten it up. So we'll see how she goes there.
And then we had the Kinloch Bray at Thurles, and very eventful race. Hot on Colours was coming tanking, and looked like he was going to he did put in a very impressive performance, bar one mistake. French Dynamite ran well, unlucky mistake maybe at the last, would have won it. But I think the main talking point is how good Hot on Colours was.
Yeah, it is. Like, look, I think Joseph was fairly dismissive when he was asked, were you lucky to win? He was like, no, he said he was coming with a run. So obviously he's going to say that anyway. But I do think it was
not necessarily.
I think he was going to like.
No, but he mightn't say that anyway. Like, I think that's interesting.
Yeah, like I think, look, the horse obviously it wasn't a big goal from him. He's going to go back to Ascot to the race, the Grade 1 he won last year. So like I'd imagine it was only a stepping stone to that. So he'll improve for the run. Hot on Colours was running a cracker. Jeez, he just tanked into it. I'll tell you, Shakan tanked into it too, and then he just fell apart. Like that was a disaster. Really, like he's in the bin now. Really,
that's what he is, though. That's what he is. He can't finish the race. When I saw him, I was in no way worried. I said here last week that he'd be beaten. I didn't fancy him at all. A pure guessing game, sending him up in the trip. It was a sure sign that he was finished.
He is in serious bother now. He'll be dropping down in grade, I assume. Next time out, you won't see him in a Grade 1. Next run, I'd say.
You'll probably see him retired at the end of the year.
Potentially, yeah.
He'll have no more than 2 runs left in him, I'd say.
Yeah, you could be right. Look, Hot on Colours is running some race. It's just a pity he's not entered in the Ryanair. Like, they could still supplement him, but I think it's a bit of an oversight from Willie. But like, he gets 149. His mark is he might get £5 or £6 off the English handicapper. Would he win the plate off 155? Maybe he would. I don't know. He's still a young horse.
He very well, yeah. It's good. The way he was, and that was his first run for quite a while too, wasn't it? I don't think he ran. Was that his first run this year? I think it was. And he was well backed in too. He was 20-1 into 10-1. I don't know what he went off, but I saw him from 20s into 10s.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure it was his first run of the season. Right, so then you have Embassy Gardens as well. Embassy Garden, obviously favourite now for the Albert Bartlett, won by 35 lengths, beaten nothing because the only opposition in the race that would have put it up to him obviously wasn't himself, Santanito.
Yeah, Santanito, I don't know what the reason was for that, such a subpar run, but take nothing away from Embassy Gardens, he was very impressive. He's improved on his previous form to win that. He's won by 35 lengths, is it? Like, he's gone into basically favoured for the Bartlett now. Like, I think it just highlights how much of a guessing game the Bartlett is at the moment. There's no real standout contender that a horse that wins a maiden hurdle is favourite. Like, I suppose the real acid test now is the 2 mile 5 or 2 mile 6 race at the Dublin Racing Festival. See what wins that. There's a couple of races then. down and tip graded races for 3 milers in the spring as well before Cheltenham. So we'll see how they go and see what comes out of those. And then we'll have a clearer picture on it. But yeah, I wouldn't be backing him at his current price for the Bartlett.
No. And it was said to me today, Glenn Kerrigan tweeted saying that 9 of the last 10 winners, or no, since 2012. Yeah, so since 2012, there's only been one winner of the Albert Bartlett who's been single-digit figures, and that was
Monkfish.
So that's an interesting stat. The final race then, we'll talk briefly because we want to move on to this weekend. The Hunter Chase at Thurles, Ferns Loch, 6-year-old bet Billaway very handily. Does he go and win the Fox Hunters? Snappy?
No.
Who wins it?
Well,
we won't say that. But okay, you don't fancy him for it.
I wouldn't say a 6-year-old will win the Fox Hunters.
Okay.
I'd say they might keep him at home, would they? They'll go with Vosselet and Leader. Same trainer. Like, he's not going to run 3. He'd probably run those 2. Look, Billaway never won first time out. You wouldn't discount him since still, but he's now an 11-year-old. He might find it hard to come back and win this race. But there's some nice ones in it, like up the top of the betting. So like, I wouldn't be fancying Billaway, but no, I wouldn't back Ferns Loch at his current price.
Right, so Killian, conscious that this podcast, we've written a lot into it, so we'll try and make this preview snappy enough. First of all, Goran Park tomorrow. By the time people are listening to this, it'll probably be finished. But do you have any fancy there, or will we move straight on?
I think Gabby's Cross will win the Thursdays. He just mentioned him as jumping.
You mentioned him actually.
He proves his jumping. I think he's good enough to win that. Ran a savage race in the Paddy Power when he didn't jump, didn't really travel that well either. But I'd say Goran, the heavy ground wouldn't bother him. I think he'll be fucking the finest. He'll go very close. Chupu is running tomorrow as well. Won the Hatton's Grace. He's running the Galmay Hurdle under a penalty, a 1-2 shot. He should win that. And then if he gets soft ground, he'll run the stairs, I assume.
They're saying the ground's actually going to be soft there tomorrow rather than heavy. Usually it's heavy there.
Usually.
I know you meant that, but it's not heavy. It's soft apparently.
Okay, very good.
Right, Fairyhouse then on Saturday. We've a grade 3 mares novice. Astro Diamond is headed to market.
Yeah, I hope she doesn't run. If she runs, I hope she doesn't win, because she'll have to give away. She'll have a penalty then in the mares novice hurdle at Cheltenham, and I've her backed for that. So ideally she doesn't run. And I'd like to see her run over the grade 1 in the Dublin Race Festival, just running behind Facile Vega again, go to the Mayor's Novice and win that. That's ideally very good there.
Like Hook Up did, and then finished nowhere.
Yeah, correct, yes.
Right. Naas then hopefully will be there with a bit of luck. If we're not tied up doing other things. We've got a grade 3-mile novice chase that we already spoke about a small bit. Yeah. And then the Limestone Lad, Bob Ollinger, Echoes in Rain, Darasso given £9 to Bob Ollinger, you were saying.
Yeah, given 16 to Echoes in Rain. You can discount him. Like, very good horse, won the race last year, but on those terms, he's not going to beat Bob Ollinger and Echoes in Rain. He could be one of them. Maybe if they had an off day, but he won't beat both. Bob gives 7 to Echoes in Rain and Anna Benina. Like, Echoes in Rain is weighted to win. She's 150 plus 7, and he's 155. So she's weighted to win there. Hopefully we see him bounce back to his best if he does run. That'd be great to see it. Again, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing Bob Ollinger over 2 miles. Right, we'll go straight on to probably the best race of the weekend. There's no getting away from it. We've a 9-race card at Cheltenham. Just looking at it here, grade 2 handicap chase, cross country, grade 1, grade 3, grade 2, grade 2, grade 2, and a handicap hurdle. What a card! Scandalous, yeah. Like, Jesus, they should try and do the Clarence House off Ascot every year, because that is serious.
Yeah, you should be going. Yourself and the lads should be going. There's no two ways.
Probably go. Yeah, probably should be.
Why
going.
not?
Yeah,
you should be. Sure, you're doing that on Saturday.
I probably go to Fairyhouse.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fairyhouse and Naas. Not as good as Cheltenham.
No, it's not.
Well, just the card, but Fairyhouse. You'll have a
21 club
savage.
isn't open, so
No, you'll
you
have
want to have a night out.
you'll have a savage day at Fairyhouse. Anyway, I'm
You will,
sure.
yeah.
They always put on a good show there.
Yeah.
Right, Cheltenham starting off with Grade 2 Triumph Trial Juvenile Hurdle. Comfort Zone is travelling over. You've got Scriptwriter there as well. Where's the eye drawn to?
I'd be drawn to Comfort Zone straight off the bat. I think he was very impressive when he won in Chepstow. It was only by a neck. It was on soft ground, but he's a real stayer. And the track in Cheltenham, that'll suit him, I think, on the new course. So a real galloping track will suit him. Hopefully they go a good gallop. There could be some serious yokes in this though. Like Scriptwriter, very, very good horse.
Don't like him.
Like was impressive.
If Scriptwriter beats Comfort Zone, I'll eat my hat. I can't see it.
Fair
There's
enough.
no way.
I'll hold you to that.
There's no way he finishes ahead of Comfort Zone.
I will hold you to that. Yeah, like there's some nice ones in. Dixon Cove was just beaten by Comfort Zone. Mombasa there for Philip Hobbs, and David Maxwell will take the ride there, and that's always great to see it. Bo Zenith was a real talk horse, sort of bombed on English debut there. He's entered. Goody Two Shoes for JP, and Joseph as well. She was a nice horse in the flat. And then Jupiter de Jeet won that hurdle race in Newbury on New Year's Day. Beat Jet Powered, got like 2 stone off Jet Powered, but hammered them. Was very impressive getting all the allowances there. He could be one in this race too. It's a decent trial, to be honest. And I wouldn't normally say these trials are good, but that one does look a decent race. If they all show up, they mightn't.
Yeah. That's very fair. I'd be Comfort Zone anyway. On to the second race, handicap. Not a whole pile to say there, except for Gardinelli to sent over half the yard, probably to see what sort of a mark they're going to get. He's actually got Chemical Energy, Hollow Games, Call Me Lyrene, The Goffer, Mars Harper, Dunboyne. I'm running out of fingers. Just a 6. Ballykeel 7. Ballykeel down the bottom 7. So there'll be a full box going over. But there's not a whole pile to say there. Only really stage star, I suppose, is there for Paul Nichols. Do you have any comments on that, or are we stay going?
Not really. Look, Chemical Energy 153, that'll put him right up the sort of top of the ratings for that National Hunt Chase on trends and stuff. So like you did have a good one there now, in fairness to you. You put him up at 8s, and he's a 4-to-1 shot now, and like the English handicapper is sort of saying, look, he's a 153 horse, so like that would put him up near what's needed to win the race with a small bit more improvement. Very good. Moving on to the cross-country chase. Obviously a handicap, this one. The top of the weights there, you've got Delta Work and Manila Times, both rated 160. The next one there is Roy Meg for Patrick Griffin, 149 rated. Snow Leopardess, interesting. Singing Banjo coming back at the age of 13. Easy Lance. There's a lot of nice horses entered there, and you could have a lovely race. Yeah, Roy Maja actually is a nice horse for Patrick Griffin. He was 3rd to Melindo there in Tremor New Year's Day. Ran well for a long way, like turning in, looking like, geez, this lad is going to be thereabouts, and just the classier horses ended up beating him. Like if he takes the cross country, he could be dangerous enough. Like look, Singing Banjo is a horse that's ran some serious races over the last couple of years in this discipline, and he could go close again. He is a 13-year-old now, so proceed with caution. But Foxy Jacks is the one I'd be looking at. Like, geez, he ran some cracker in the Paddy Power. Bit of interference there. He would have been probably a bit closer. He could have won it. So like he'd have a right chance. He ran well behind Delta Work in Punchestown. Now he was getting weight that day, so he'd need to improve.
Getting weight again this day.
He is, but he's given weight to Singing Banjo, and he got weight off him the last day. Is probably the key bit, and Singing Banjo was in front of him too. But look, he's a very talented horse if he puts it all together.
Yeah,
but God
he's some monkey dog.
God
Is he the
bless whoever
biggest?
rides him. Poor Shane Finlan. He'll have to go over
Yeah.
there, I'd say, for one ride, and it could be great or terrible.
Yeah. Is he the biggest monkey in racing at the moment?
No,
Like he's
Mr.
just
Incredible is that
okay.
the
Okay.
Mr.
Well, I don't
Incredible.
know. Foxy Jacks is, he could bring them all down there now.
Oh, he
There
could
could
bring the
be
whole lot.
there
Yeah,
could
he
there could
could.
be nobody finishing
Yeah, it
if
could.
Foxy Jacks gets his way.
It could be easy as land from 100 lengths back because he's bet so far out of sight.
Yeah.
Coming in when Foxy Jacks takes them all down.
Yeah. But sure, look, we'll see. It'll be a great race, and probably we'll
Yeah,
have to
love the
wait to
cross
see what's
country.
running in
Brilliant
it.
race. Great to
Um,
watch.
yes, exactly. And then the race that's been brought forward from last weekend, our first and last Grade 1 on the card, the Clarence House, Energumene, Edwardstone, between those two, surely. And then a few others have cottoned on to lovely prize money and have entered horses as well, which is great to see. We
I have.
spoke about this last week. Energumene were both solid enough on.
Yeah, we are. I think he'll win. Interesting. It's on the new course though. Like, like could they not say we'll run this Clarence House on the old course and distance champion chase, instead of running it on the new course?
I don't know if there's nothing. I don't know. I like it. If there's nothing, like if there's only a length or two between the two of them at the end, at least it's not course and distance, and there's the element of what track will suit what horse the next day.
I'd assume the new track, more galloping track, would suit Energumene more than Edwardstone. But wait and see. Look, he's rated £6 higher. He's a 1-2 shot. I wouldn't be backing him 1-2. I'd just sit and watch and soak in like the two best 2-milers around, I suppose.
Yeah. And we've been unfair to Edwardstone before, but
we've hold our hands up.
Hands up like that. Hands up again.
Hands up.
Right. Then we've got the Grade 3 Paddy Power Handicap Chase. Il Rodotto, Stolen Silver. Again, just a very competitive handicap. Cool Cody, 147 rated, 12 years of age now. What a horse, and has run very well this year too. But you'd imagine something like this is probably out of his reach now.
You would, yeah. In fairness, like, look, it's all these premier handicaps are the 2 mile to 2.5 mile distance in England. Like, they're always hotly enough contested. You see the odd Irish horse go over for it. Then, like, Stuart Crawford has won their Gold Cup Bailey. He's entered in about 4 different races across the weekend. I don't know. He's improving. Now, take it with a pinch of salt. The 2 races he's won the last twice have been in air both times. So that's the one thing maybe about him there. But look, he's improving, and I think going back down and trip from 3 miles the last day will suit. I don't think there should be any problem there. Like, at the end of the day, if you go back to his form over hurdles, he was beaten 4 lengths by a High Senior in a maiden hurdle in air. He does have some good form. Look, he's a 14-1 shot there. I don't know is he going to run or not, but if he does run, I'd probably chance him. 7-year-old improving.
Okay, and I'd chance Il Rodotto. To be honest, he was 4th in the Paddy Power at November, was dropped a pound for that very leniently, I felt. And I actually fancied him then for a race that was cancelled, but he ran again then New Year's Day, 4th again, beaten 8 lengths by Midnight River, dropped another pound. He's consistent, there at Cheltenham. He's got good form, and he's going down ever so slightly in the weights. He'd be the one that my eye would be drawn to for that race, for sure. Going on then to the Grade 2, the Paddy Power Castle Chase, lovely race. Protectorate 13-8, Noble Yates 2-1. What's catching your eye there? To be honest, Noble Yates looks a fair price at that.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I don't really like Protectorate. I just don't know what it is. Like, even like looking at his form the last couple of years, like he's sort of flatters to deceive at times. I think, like, he won a Grade 1 in Aintree, beat the shunter Hitman, like handicappers really. came back then last year, hammered Native River in the Many Clouds in Aintree last December. People said, "Oh, here he is now. He's arrived." Protectorate, and then he was well beaten third in the Gold Cup, disappointed in an entry. Like, I'm willing to forgive a Plutard the run in the Betfair Chase. I think there was something obviously seriously wrong that day, but he's beaten Eldorado Allen 11 lengths. I don't know. I think Noble Yates would beat Eldorado Allen 11 lengths or more anyway. So at the prices, I take Noble Yates. Look, I think Protectorate's a good horse, but I wouldn't like him here, and I definitely wouldn't like him in the Gold Cup.
No, I'd agree with you. And just the last day at entry there, in the Many Clouds Chase, I couldn't get over the turn of foot that Noble Yates showed.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had it. I thought he was more of a sort of a plodder. I just thought, but just between the second last and the last, took off, very taken. And he should be favoured here for this, in my opinion. Moving on then, another grade 2, the Cleve Hurdle. What a race. Paisley Park goes and wins it 11-10. He's 14-1 for the Stairs Hurdle in March, which is too big. I know he's 11, but he's a very, very good horse. Very honest. And once he gets going, like about 2 or 3 furlongs out nearly what sort of Paisley Park you're getting. Like when he's on it, he's on it. And now he has to give away £3 to Gillian and Bello. No issue at all to him whatsoever. Has to give away weight to the whole field really, but he's head and shoulders above these, and he goes and wins.
Yeah, I think he'll win this. I think 14-1 is fair enough for the Stairs. He's not going to win the Stairs. Sorry to you and all the Paisley Park fan club. 11-year-old is not going to win the Stairs Hurdle. I'm sorry, like, it doesn't matter who you are. You're not going to do it.
I think you're very wrong.
Stairs. It might be a weak Stairs, but something will pop out and beat him. I'd be fairly certain. Gilino Bello could give him a race this weekend though.
No.
Don't think he'll beat him, but he could give him a race. Like, he'd some decent form over hurdles, went novice chasing, fell in the Cauto Star, and he's just gone back over hurdles. Nichols obviously sees a weakness in the Stairs, and I think he's right. And if he can beat Paisley Park here, he'll be a lot shorter for the Stairs than Paisley Park would come March. A 7-year-old could improve again. You don't know.
Yeah, and don't quote me on the 14-1 actually, because I haven't looked at it in a couple of weeks. But he was 14-1, and he was mentioned here as being a savage price by myself. I know you don't like him at 14-1 each way. I think that's savage value. Right, onto the second last race, grade 2. I'm loving these. I'm loving that you had a few points too before this. The Ballymore Novices Hurdle. Do you have any strong opinions on them? They're not going to be seen in March.
They're all very middle, and I'd say Henry II might be a step above them all, though. Just might improve from his last run. Now he's give away a bit of weight. He won was it a grade 2 in Sandown by 4.5 lengths or something. I think if he improves a small bit, he'll beat these. I'd take him at 5-2 there, but none of them are going to win a Ballymore. Even happen a Ballymore.
No, it's a poor.
It's a weak enough race, isn't it?
It's a poor grade 2. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the final race on the card there is just a class 2 handicap hurdle. I suppose just Jason the Militant at the top of the weights. For his new owners. It won't be soft enough for him anyway. It's a nice race, to be fair. Comprend. I like to move it. There's a few more there front view for John Joe O'Neill. It's a great card. All competitive races. And some top class horses there too.
Jason the Militant is a horse I actually really like. It's a pity he's a small bit fragile. Obviously with new owners out with Philip Kirby in England now, so hopefully they get a bit of crack out of him at least. One that could run well, I think maybe is Lebowski. There for Michael Scudamore. I think he could be out of his mark at 129. An 8-year-old there. He ran a couple of nice races last year. Before it's a bit disappointing in Sandown in that the Imperial Cup the weekend before Cheltenham. Disappointed there, but he bounced back there in before Christmas. He won in Wetherby, gone up £7. Mightn't stop him. I don't know. I think he's a small bit of improvement to come there still.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, folks, that brings us to the end of this week's podcast. Just have to get notification on the laptop. The battery is low. That's the second one I've got. So we'll wrap it up quickly. Folks, keep an eye on our Twitter page for that hacked up racing gifts giveaway. We've also got our own competition for 2 tickets for Fairyhouse. Killian is updating entries there. You'll get a lot of news there regularly enough as well. So if you aren't following, make sure to follow. Let us know what you thought of the podcast. Subscribe, comment, like, share it. Whatever you want, we won't stop you. So look, that's all from us this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the racing at the weekend, because it is very good racing. And so from us this week, that's everything. All the best.
Thank you. Bye.